Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to wherever you are inside the house. Because I wanted to stop by really, really quick. It may not be that quick. Okay, you may have to come back to this video. So, starting this week off, we want to be very optimistic about what is to come. We want to be on our best, standing fully on our square, which has a lot to do with our emotional posture, spiritual posture, practical posture, as well as our mental posture. Now, then, because when we utilize our temperance and balancing all of those things and really being able to fully show up the way that we need to and should on a regular basis, regardless of any of the obstacles or, um, you know, perpetual bullshit that may happen or transpire this week, we want to be very much so mindful of our response or reaction, right? Over the course, many of you who are in the foyer understand where I'm coming from with what I'm about to say when it comes to standing on your square and being very patient in your process, right? There's been a couple of issues here and there. They just get more. Um, there's just a sense of desperation about not allowing me to do the work that I came here to do. That's neither here nor there. It pushed me more into my balance, right? It pushed me more into my ability to be fully aware and present. And while I'm waiting for things to work out, I busy myself with other things that will be of use to you. So what I'm going to share with you is something that I found is of use to you. When I was sitting there, I had to sit there, and some of you know I shared that I had to I read a book. I'll be listening to some music. I don't browse the internet a lot. Was browsing the internet a little bit right there. Really just sitting and being present. Now, the other thing that brought me to you here today, because I was just going to only do a 1-2 type up or what have you, regardless of the circumstances, right? But I decided to do it like this because I need you to know that I am very serious and I'm adamant about everyone who is really showing up for themselves. And sometimes the work when it comes to showing up for yourself, because when you show up for yourself, you show up for others as well. Sometimes the work can seem daunting. It can seem like too much to do. It can seem like, why do I have to go through this? Why? It's not what you're going through, it's what you're growing through, right? And the thing about showing up for yourself also has a lot to do with what have you learned and how do you utilize the tools that you have been provided, right? And it's very important to remember those tools, right? Even if they become dusty or you put them back on a bookshelf way back in the back and it's like, I don't really need it right now. Nothing that would be needed that I need to use that for will come about. So, but when it does, you need to always know how to have go-tos, how to assess certain tools mentally, physically, emotionally, mentally, assess certain tools when you will need them. That means that you are always on your square, but with your foot on a pivot. So I was listening to some of the astrology girls and guys here over the weekend, and I listened to my 7 planets, which is very important because there are 7 planets that really have effects on us. It's not just one or two. And oftentimes we get hit in places that have to do with a planet that we were not even thinking about, a part of our lives, an aspect of ourselves that we needed to work on that we had not thought about or given attention to. Whoever is walking upstairs got some heavy ass feet. This ain't been going on for a long time, but it is really just like stop, okay? Have some type of consideration because I know if you walking that hard, you can feel yourself walking that goddamn hard. So at any rate, the astrology girls and guys, and some of my planets, it said that you're going to have a lot of opposition. You're going to have a lot of people trying to, like, there's something that Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, there's some conjunctions and some squares and things going on. Go look and check it out. That may be going on. So it's better to be forewarned, right? It's no cause for alarm. It's just a forewarning. So what happens is that over the course, they say the next week, but I feel like some things may be delayed, so it may be a couple of weeks. Just always stay on your square with your foot on a pivot. So they were saying that there may be some opposition. There may be, oh, your boss may be pressuring you to try to do this, that, and the other. Of course, my boss is God, right? And so when God pressures me, it's different from when opposition pressures me. So someone who may think that they're your boss, someone who may think that they are an authority in your life, someone who may think that they are Saturn. Okay, so you want to be very mindful of that, and over the course of these next couple of weeks, because the planets apparently this year, the past couple of months, I've been listening a little more to astrology. Some of you know that I have listened here and there, but when they get to talk about conjunct and trine and sextiles and all the things, it's French. Okay, the only French I know is oui. Okay, bonjour, oui. Okay, that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to share with you what Marian Wright Elderman, who is, um, she started the Children's Defense Fund. She's a civil rights activist, but this is what she's sharing this with young graduates. But I do feel that this is something that, because we talk so much about some of these things here in the house, these are going to be things that you may need to take into consideration on your laws that govern you. Okay. When I was reading this, I was like, yes, girl, let's talk about it, girl. So the first one is there is no free lunch. Don't feel entitled to anything you don't sweat and struggle for, okay? Take the initiative in creating your own opportunity. And don't wait around for other people to discover you or do you a favor, ho. Okay? Don't assume a door is closed. Push on it. Okay? Don't assume if it was closed yesterday that it's closed today as well. And don't ever stop learning and improving your mind. That's number one. All right. Number two, set thoughtful goals and work quietly and systematically toward them. Resist quick fixes, simplistic answers, and easy gains. They often disappear just as quickly as they come. All right. Number three, I'm not going to keep up with the numbers. Watch. Number three, I'm going to try to assign yourself. She says, my daddy used to ask us whether the teacher gave us any homework. If we said no, he'd say, well, assign yourself. I used to do that to my kids. You need to do something. But I used to make them write essays. But that's neither here nor there. Don't wait around for your boss or your friends or your spouse to direct you to do what you are able to figure out and do for yourself. All right. The next one is never work just for money. Huge, huge, huge. Never work just for money. Money alone won't save your soul or help you sleep at night. Don't confuse wealth or fame with character. All right. Don't tolerate or condone moral corruption, whether it's found in high or low places, whatever its color of or class. And don't confuse morality with legality. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once noted that everything Hitler did in Nazi Germany was legal. Don't give anyone the proxy for your conscience. Conscience. I do fuck that word up, and you just witnessed it. Hello. All right. The next one is don't be afraid of taking risk or being criticized. Don't be afraid of taking risk and that is huge. And some of the stuff that I heard in the astrology thing, like they were, a lot of it was like, was about, you may be deciding to do something new or, whatever it is. And there may be people criticizing you, but it also, one of the planets that I listened to, it did say the planet placements that I listened to, it did say there will be something about, people with psychological issues that may be attacking a lot of people at this time. Well, people with that planet and that sign, right? Maybe getting the brunt of that. If you don't want to be criticized, don't say anything, don't do anything, or be anything. Stay comfortable, hope. But that's not what we do in this house. Come, come, come. Okay? Don't be afraid of failing. We talked about that in the cellar on Friday. And this Friday we are talking about standing on your square when it comes to your posture and all of the elements and realms in which you, the area in which you are right now. All right, until you move to your next level of graduation, the next level that you are ready to be initiated into. All right, it's the way you learn to do things, right? It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. All that matters is how many times you get up. Get your ass up. All right. Always listen for the genuine within yourself. And that reminds me of what Maya Angelou said about that light within you that I view as your inner child, your innocence. But I think that's what she was saying. I have to go back and watch it. But always listen for the genuine within yourself. Small. Okay. Einstein said, is the number of them that see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Einstein was smart because that's some real shit. The more that we live and continue to experience life and experience people on our journey, we realize that there are more people walking around with closed eyes and an abandoned heart. People that are so abused and amused by those things that are abusive. They become caught up and enthralled with the lower vibration nature, the animalistic nature, the carnal nature of most of the things that make the world go round. The programming, the conditioning, which I'll call the matrix. Try to be one of them, all right? Try to be one of the people that see with their own eyes and also feel with their own heart, all right? The next one is, and she says in a final lesson, never think life is not worth living or that you cannot make a difference. Never think that life is not worth living and you cannot make a difference. As I've stated many times before here on in this house, I have told you all many times before that everything that you do, the more that you evolve, you're not on like a lot of people are so caught up in, I'm doing this for, I'm the ambassador of my bloodline. I'm doing this for this, that, and the other. You're doing it for more than that because with everything that you do and continue to graduate and become, it affects all of us as long as you are out here still doing what it is that you need to do, right? The other part of that is oftentimes people become so, because we're in the West, most of us are in the West, but we do have people across the pond as well. But most of us here in the West, sometimes, not most of us, but sometimes people get caught up in doing a lot of the spiritual things, but forgetting that they still have to be a part of the cycle of production, reproduction, right? They have to be a part of the energy movement in this arena. Even though there are some magis and some yogis or whatever you want to call them, higher beings that do cleanse and help us out without having to interact with us, right? But many of us have a job to do, and the more that we rise to the occasion, the better. So everything that you do affects at least 300 people. Each one of those 300 affect a person. So then you would do 3 times that 300. Wait a minute, do the math. That's why math was important in school. Each one of those is 300. So you may affect 300 people just in your zip code, your surroundings. We're going to say it like that, right? Because you could be a teacher, a counselor, a therapist, NLP practitioner, whatever it is. But each one that you touch, you are changing and helping them to touch others as well. So that's part of your legacy. Do you look at it like that? Do you view it like that? You are aware, aren't you? Figure it out. The final lesson is never think life is not worth living or that you cannot make a difference. Never give up, no matter how hard it gets. And it will get very hard sometimes, okay? An old proverb says that when you get to your wits' end, that's where God lives. Harriet Beecher Stowe said, when you get into a tight place and everything goes against you till it seems as though you could not hang on a minute longer, don't even give up then. Okay, I'm with you, Harriet. Miss Harriet Beecher. I'm gonna have to look her up. Okay, some people worth looking up. Okay, for that is just the place and the time that the tide will turn. The tide will turn if you dream it, if you believe in it, if you have faith in it, struggle for it, and never give up. Thank you, Miss Marion, all right, Edelman, all right? That was in her paper, child, and she was giving it to the graduates. I'm giving it to my graduates over here at the House of Oshun because it's very important that you remember this, especially with whatever this is that may be transpiring over the next couple of weeks. And remember, Mars is in, like this Mars energy is heavy, it's strong, and it's on go. But also what I had to realize, as well as I'm pretty sure many of you have had to realize, is that a lot of your go may be slowed down because the enemy wants to really slow people down in this arena. And it's kind of interesting when it comes to tempering yourself, even though you got all the, like, they have a ton of things to do. You just need to know that it will get done. Because if it's not going to get done, then what is to become of your legacy? The enemy wants you to not do certain things. They want you to not be who you came here to be. Okay? You gotta make peace with that over and over again. All right. But you don't give it your time, effort, or attention. Your intentions is what you want to focus your energy on. And that's why I came in here for a quick one to vlog with you all. And there's another thing that y'all need to be mindful of. Project 2025. Look into that if you're into um the ticks, okay? Because I don't do a lot of discussing those things, but I found that article very much so interesting. So y'all can look into Project 2025 and see what they're saying about that, because usually things are so hidden in plain sight. And like I said on Friday, I think it was, I was like, the world is a stage. And it's like you have to be mindful of all the parts of what it is that is entertaining you, because everything appears to be entertaining you. But where is it helping you to grow? Where is it helping? Is it giving you, you wake up with an option every day. You wake up with an option every day. Every day. Change is something that is inevitable. It's going to happen whether you like it or not, right? It's on you how you choose to respond and react to the changes that happen. And every choice that you make, there's a consequence for every choice that you make. And you got to be comfortable with that and have no regrets, no remorse, no regrets, right? And keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, it's very important, excuse me, at the end of the day, it's very important to remember we got one life, and you can start living on purpose with purpose, or you can just be existing. And I'm pretty sure that you've been around a lot of people in your life. You've seen it happen. And to the best of them, they begin to just exist. That's part of the conditioning that we talked about in the master study about it 2 years ago. When I said that, if they can get a child by the age of 12, let's talk about it. If they can get the game is to get children before they are the age of 12. If you can ruin them and damper their imagination, damper their love energy, damper their sacral chakra energy, fuck up their root chakra. If you can condition them before the age of 12, then there you have people who will continue to dwell in the belly of the beast. And that goes back to I remember when I was growing up, right? Y'all, okay, growing up, we heard a lot of people saying it was always by the time you were under the guise of your parents until the age of 12. And then further research and learning along in life, you realize that that had a lot to do with once your adult teeth come in, you're pretty much the foundation of who you are is pretty much there. However, in this house, we do believe in growth. We believe in inner child healing. We believe in integrating inner child, the usage, the utilization of the inner child and their abilities is so important on this path. It's important. You can't let your inner child you let your inner child run wild, but you also are the chaperone of that child. You are the parent, the nurturer. You talk to that child in a way that will allow for you to continue to heal those parts of you that were mistreated or traumatized or programmed. All right. It's kind of like, yeah, you're your parents. You have masculine and feminine within you. You temper those things, you balance those things, you equilibrate those things, and you make peace with certain things that you just know that you cannot change. But from this day forward, little girl, little boy, this is what we're going to do. Aren't you excited? Did you always want to do this? Right? It's very important, you see. Remember when I told you all that you should, that was one of the things that we did, because there's so much that we've done in the cellar over these last couple of years. Shout out to the people who have been in there all this time and putting up with me and my shit, because they went through the brunt of a lot of stuff with me. Um, so I'll give this to you all. What we did was the inner child work had to do with us getting a picture of ourselves from when we were younger. It doesn't have to be when you were under the age of 12. You could have been a teenager or what have you. and some of the best parts of your life, but the innocence that you see in your eyes, you get that picture, and you talk to it, give it love, and you know, anything that may have gone on in that time, you affirm the opposite. You encourage yourself, and all of those things, and really have that to blossom within you. Right, you'll feel a change, and the dynamic in your friendships and relationships will change as well, because you'll begin to integrate a lot of the energies that were meant for you to be powerful in this day and age. Because oftentimes people forget the sincerest parts of themselves because of all of the hustle and bustle, the hamster wheel of life, the railroading of and the conditioning of the humans. So that's a little 1-2 that you can do. I will share with you, but I'm pretty sure I went into more detail with them. I think it was an audio recording. But I really want you to be mindful over the course of these next couple of weeks, based on what I've heard from the astrologers, right? There's some Pluto squaring something, Mars doing its thing, Gemini got its thing going on. We still in Gemini season. We got a full moon in Capricorn coming up. So, just let's keep up, okay? Let's be very much so as authentic as we possibly can. Let's not make decisions that may come back to bite us in the ass. Let's not respond to bullshit or bullshitters. Like Miles Monroe says, that person, if they trip out, they probably just having a little bout. They'll be all right tomorrow. You don't have to put up with them tomorrow, but you don't have to respond or give your energy, feed the beast, energetically, verbally, emotionally, physically, monetarily, or any type of other practical ways. Let's just be mindful, because at the end of the day, look, we are children who came here to play. We do adult things, of course we do, but we find love and joy in all the things that we do. We find love and joy within ourselves, and we spread that out and give it to the world, all right? Everyone may not be deserving. That's why you be mindful of how much of what you give what to. No matter how full your cup is, that don't mean that you just go out here pouring it all around. No matter how full your cup is, that does not mean that you go out here and just get to pouring it around and, oh, you can have some and you can have some. You driving a boat, bitch? Okay. All right, so I started to curse. Back to your duties. Thank you.